The community of Lakeside Valley, California, postal code 92040, is located in the western foothills of the Cuyamaca Mountains on the San Diego River, and it's about 21 miles east of downtown San Diego. We will be discussing various aspects of this community and learn about the different perspectives its residents hold. So, let us begin.
Located in the East County of San Diego, Lakeside, California has a rich and vibrant history. In 1886, with the building of Lakeside Inn, Lakeside was officially recognized as a town. Even before the opening of Lakeside Inn, however, people have been coming to Lakeside to enjoy what this area has to offer. Migrating here from the coast to enjoy moderate winters, the Kumeyaay Indians were the first to enjoy Lakeside. Here, they found the county's only natural lake and used it to fish, hunt, and gather near it. They would meet at their sacred great rocks of the mountains as well. Kumeyaay descendants are still found in Lakeside today. Just near Wildcat Canyon Road, you can visit their reservation. Lakeside has seen many changes over the years. In 1870, Benjamin P. Hill made his way to Lakeside from El Cajon Valley and opened the first ranch in Lakeside, locating it by Wildcat Canyon and Willow Road. In 1885, with the opening of the California Southern Railroad line that connected San Diego County to the rest of the nation, the county population grew from 7,500 in 1886 to 25,000 by 1887. 1 year later, the flood of 1916 wiped out railroad tracks from Lakeside to Santee, destroying 21 houses, as well as barns, silos, water tanks, and other buildings. In 1920, the demolition of the Lakeside Inn resulted in a new town focused on local needs and survival. Historical landmarks from this time can still be found on Main Street today. Most recently, Lakeside is an expansion of apartments, small homes, and large properties. On Winter Gardens and the west area of Woodside Avenue, you'll find primarily apartment complexes. Through those coaches, however, you will see more houses, and as you go further west towards Alpine, you will locate larger properties. Lakeside demonstrates a strong connection to their history. On Main Street, landmarks such as Payton's Hardware Store demonstrate the efforts of Lakeside residents to keep their history alive.
In regards to the physical environment, we did not notice or see any signs of graffiti in the areas which we visited. Your typical cats and dogs are present here. Horses are popular, and it's normal to see people riding and walking them. In the more rural areas of Lakeside, you see chicken coops, roosters, pigs, rabbits, and more, giving the country living style a presence. These rural areas consist of dirt, mostly rather than green grass and floral setups. Also in these areas, property houses are spread out by several acres, separating neighbors from each other. It gives more of a country feel for the residents who reside here. When looking at the inland areas where it's more populated, you will see more apartment complexes and townhomes. Most seem to be well kept and nice. Within this area, through side streets, you will notice neighborhoods with houses alongside each other. These houses are seen to have green grass and trees in their yards. Houses seem to be well maintained throughout. There aren't any metal fences along the front windows or security doors, indicating that this area is safe to live in and be in. The yards connect to one another on each side, as they are not fenced off, separating property. Everyone seems to know their boundaries and maintain cleanliness throughout. I would like to say that there are no real zoning areas of space in this community, with the lack of barriers around properties. A lot of rural areas have barriers, but for cattle purposes only. In regards to the climate aspect, Lakeside seems to have two seasons, summer and winter. It's either really hot or really cold. The people you see within the community really depends on the time of day you're out and about. If you go out in the morning, the community is rather quiet and not many people are around. In the middle of the day, you will see people walking dogs, riding bikes, skateboarding, or at social gathering spots. In the evening, you get more of your youngster generation out and about around the local liquor stores and bars. I notice more often the homeless is most visibly seen late morning, early afternoon. Lindo Lake County Park is the recreational center of Lakeside, otherwise known as the heart of Lakeside. It is also the only natural freshwater lake in San Diego County. This park consists of family and group picnic areas, a dance ramada, play areas, a softball field, horseshoe pits, fishing, and tennis courts. There is miles of biking, walking, and horseback riding spots. The park is also home to the local county library and is known for its excellent birdwatching opportunities. This lake is referred to as a children's paradise, as it is a source of enjoyment to those of all ages.
The population consists of mainly middle-aged white people. There is a total population of 20,648, with 84% being white, which is 17,545. Hispanics and Latinos make up 17% of the population, totaling 3,627. Unidentified races contribute to 6%, totaling 1,327. Those identified with two or more races make up 4%, totaling 956. Asians make up 1%, totaling 351. Blacks also contribute to 1% of the population, totaling 235. Lastly, American Indians don't even make up 1% of the population, with their total being 181. The male population of Lakeside totals 10,143, with the median age being 37 years old. The female population totals 10,505, with the median age being 40 years old. Besides these statistics, all ages can be seen in Lakeside along with single individuals and families. The elderly are more frequent during the daylight hours, whereas the young adults and teens populate more during the later afternoons and nights. The economy mainly consists of family-owned mom-and-pop shops, small cafes, liquor/convenience stores, and fast food chains. Big business chains don't survive here. There was once a Fresh and Easy along with the Vons, but they didn't survive. There aren't any Walmarts or Targets, nor are there any clothing stores. Albertsons, Rite Aid, and Walgreens are the biggest stores in the area, although there is a Crunch Fitness being built where the Fresh and Easy was once located. Residents must travel to Santee or El Cajon to shop at a mall, Walmart, Target, or any other big corporation. Even though Lakeside has a small economic field, it does have a low unemployment rate of 4.7%. The estimated median house value is valued at $332,193, with the average income being $26,451 and the average gross rent costing $1,055. So Lakeside is not the most expensive option when it comes to residing.
We discovered a nearby healthcare facility on Vine Street, as well as several dental offices. Despite these available resources, in the case of an emergency, one would have to travel to the nearby communities. Each year, the Kids Care Fest takes place at the Lakeside Rodeo Grounds. This annual healthcare event is sponsored by Grossmont Healthcare and is absolutely free to all members of the community, regardless of age. It consists of health, dental, and vision screenings, as well as health education and referrals to outside agencies and offices. For children who attend this event, there are activities, pony rides, food, and more. This large event can benefit every member of each family. Additionally, Lakeside has plenty of homes for its elderly population. There are several nursing homes and apartment complexes dedicated to housing seniors. However, it seems that the community is lacking in resources and shelters for the homeless population. It appears that any support for the homeless population comes from independent organizations or churches. For example, each month, the Lakeside Christian Help Center provides the needy with a 3-day supply of food, 2 outfits, blankets, and baby formula and diapers. While this temporary assistance is a generous act, it appears that much needs to be done in order to address the root of the problem of homelessness in the community.
The size of this community allows for community bonding and gatherings geared for all different ages. The common areas where people gather are Starbucks, Lindo Lake Park, the skate park, Eastbound Bar and Grill, and of course El Capitan Arena, otherwise known as the rodeo. The form of communication here includes social media outlets as well as personal and impersonal interactions. The newspapers consist of local interest papers mostly, and they sit in small stands outside liquor stores and Mexican food establishments. You can find the Union Tribune and Daily Californian papers located inside Albertsons. Community members are seen as friendly and respectful of other members overall. As mentioned through an interview, this community would be categorized as gem and shaft through the closeness and social relationships affiliated in this community. Also, Lakeside is more territorial, being that members have shared values and participate together in various activities Lakeside has to offer.
Cars seem to be the main source of transportation in Lakeside. Public transportation is also available with the city bus route 848 that travels on the main roads such as Winter Gardens, Main Avenue, and Woodside Avenue. Sidewalks seem to be an issue in the residential areas or side roads. For example, on Lemoncrest Avenue, the road that leads to Lemoncrest Elementary School, it does not have consistent sidewalks despite the fact that it is a winding road. It has multiple blind spots. The sidewalks cut off randomly and the space there is to walk does not have a pavement. This creates a hazard for both students and drivers. Amanda, who drives her daughter down this road every day, says she would never allow her daughter to walk to school. Not only is this issue relevant to this road, but other schools as well, such as this road near Riverview Elementary. This lack of sidewalks also makes it difficult for people with disabilities to get around the side streets. Lakeside is also bike friendly. There are ample designated bike lanes on the main roads and drivers respect cyclists. In terms of safety, Lakeside has a sheriff's station and a fire station. It has an overall crime rate of 14 per 1,000 residents. According to FBI crime data, your chances of becoming a victim of crime in Lakeside is 1 in 74. How does Lakeside compare to other communities in California of all population sizes? Well, Lakeside's crime rate is lower than approximately 82% of California communities. In terms of violent crimes versus property crimes from Neighborhood Scout website, violent crimes occur at a higher rate than in most communities of all population sizes in America. The chance that a person will become a victim of a violent crime in Lakeside, such as armed robbery, aggravated assault, rape, or murder, is 1 in 357. This equates to a rate of 3 per 1,000 inhabitants. The property crime rate in Lakeside is below average to all cities and towns in the nation. This means that you are less likely to become a victim of arson, motor vehicle theft, larceny, or burglary in Lakeside than in most communities in America. Your chance of becoming a victim of property crime, if you live here, is just 1 in 93. As we did our walkabout and drove around Lakeside, we did not see signs of political endorsements. There were no signs outside homes, restaurants, businesses that endorse a specific political candidate. We do not say that Lakeside is not politically engaged. However, it seems that residents are not expressing their political views or are endorsing a specific candidate.
There's a total number of 14 schools in the Lakeside Union School District, including public, private, charter, and other non-traditional schools. So all in all, there's 8 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 1 high school, 2 charter schools, programs or preschools centered on infant and preschool special education programs. The total number of students enrolled in all of these schools is 7,287, and the enrolled student population demographic is 63.06% are white, 26.11% are Hispanic.
As you see on the graph displayed, the remaining percent of students enrolled are compiled of ethnic minority groups within this community.
Also, the gender breakdown for these schools are extremely close. There's 49.64% are female and 50.36% of students are male. Along with the normal curriculum that you would see in any other school district, Lakeside Union School District also provides additional academic programs, those being English learners, GATE, which is Gifted and Talented Education, Special Education, preschool programs, LCAP, which stands for Local Control Accountability Plan, and World Language/Immersion programs. The most interesting of these would be the World Language/Language Immersion programs. These programs are designed to enrich the education of native English-speaking students by teaching them all of their academic subjects in a second language. The goal is for students to become proficient in the second language and develop an increased cultural awareness while reaching a high level of academic achievement. Most of the schools in this district are ranked, and we have the base API score for those schools.
Much of the Lakeside community identifies as religious. About 15% of residents are some form of Christian, and 26% identify as Catholic. Catholics and Christians seem to be the dominant religions, although there are small percentages of residents who identify with other religions, such as the Jewish and the Islamic faith. In total, approximately 44% of residents in Lakeside are religious. This likely holds a large influence on the overall values of the community. It appears that many of the charity and outreach programs are sponsored by local churches. Various church websites mention the dedication to helping their neighbors in their mission statements. Once again, the Lakeside Christian Help Center is a great example of church-sponsored charity and community outreach. They operate entirely through church volunteers to help the poor and homeless of the community by giving them food, clothing, and other items necessary for their well-being. Additionally, members of the community contribute back-to-school supplies, as well as donate Christmas gifts around the holidays. Donations such as these give us the impression that the members of Lakeside community care about and value helping one another.
Country Donuts is a family business that has been in this community since 1991. They work and live in this community. They feel it's a good place to live, work, and raise a family. The best things about this community to them is they feel it's a safe place. Problems related to working here, they feel, is the homeless population. The customers don't like them hanging around. The community has changed in their perspective through population growth. There are a lot more people here than when they first started. The desired changes they would like to see is less people overall. They feel it's too crowded. They consider their business a thriving one. The best things about having a business in this community is they are self-employed and listening to their customer stories. Customers do consist of mostly regulars, and the community has been supportive and beneficial in the success of their business as the regulars keep coming back, the prices are good, and good customer service. They do feel connected to the community through getting to know members within the community overall. I had the opportunity to interview a social worker within this community. She's a 20-year resident and worked for 7 years in the field of social work through the County of San Diego. Here's a summary of our interview. She does feel this community is good for families and raising kids. She says the biggest social problem consists of racism, some gangs, tagging, and drugs. She describes this community as territorial, with how this community consists of groups of people who live in a common territory, have common history and shared values, participate together in various activities, and have a high degree of solidarity. She also describes this community as Gemeinschaft, meaning it's a community where social relationships are categorized by strong reciprocal bonds of sentiment and kinship within a common tradition. It refers to the closeness of holistic social relationships said to be found in pre-industrial communities, and it exists by the subjective will of the community members. Also, she feels this community is vertically linked as it is particularly associated with consultation and planning and is generally initiated from the top down, even if a bottom-up process is adopted. This happens through business and organizations wanting to engage the community in consultation, decision-making, or in some other aspect of their work. When asked if she felt whether or not there was a sense of community here, she did respond by saying she didn't know there was one. Most social interaction and community building takes place at Lindo Lake Park and through Parks and Recreation. She noticed this during the Run for Arts event recently. Also, Eastbound Bar and Grill is a popular local bar located on Main Street in the middle of the historical part of Lakeside. People enjoy privacy and enforced personal space in their homes. She feels schools are average in this community. Many are being upgraded and look nice. Positive improvements are being made. When asked about homeless and drug issues, she said there is not a high homeless population and says drugs are not really shown or visible. She feels this community has changed through population increase and more ethnically diverse. Improvements to the park is the best thing about Lakeside. When adding the skate park, allowing for youth to have somewhere to enjoy their free time rather than causing problems for themselves or others. Sketchy people is the worst thing about Lakeside. And lastly, the most noticed ethnicities here in Lakeside are Caucasians and Hispanic.
I've been in Lakeside for 27 years.
38, 10 years.
24, 20 years.
27, 3 years.
27 and 25 years. Yes.
No.
Kind of.
Yes.
Yes. A small knit community. Everybody seems to know everybody.
It's close to other communities that don't suck.
Convenient for a lot of things. A lot of different opportunities to do things. Lots of different schools. Small enough community to where
everyone's close together. You can go fishing here. There's lakes, a bunch of lakes. It's better than going downtown.
It's a very self-involved community. All your neighbors know each other, your kids go to school and grow up together. That's why I think it's a good community.
I would say the homeless, teenage drug addiction.
Yeah, definitely the homelessness and heroin use.
gang use and violence abuse.
Probably just drugs.
Violence and drugs.
There's a lot more homeless than there used to be, and the cowboy aspect of Lakeside is not anything like it used to be as far as like the rodeos. Not many people go to the rodeos anymore like they used to. A different variety of people have moved here.
Yeah, I'd say it's more racially diverse than it used to be. Not quite so hillbillified, if that's a word.
It's definitely well more known now than it used to be 20 years ago, and there's a lot more activity than there used to be 20 years ago.
There's a lot more drug use I saw when I was growing up. There's a lot of homeless people when I was growing up. A lot of racism. There's a lot less of all of that, I feel.
We have lost that small community feel more so now due to other communities homeless traveling this way because of the trolley center being closer to us, as in Santee. And violence and crime rates have gone up because of that, which makes it different.
Yeah, I'd like to see some kind of help with our homeless issue and with the homeless teenage problem that we've got going on, because there's a lot of homeless kids.
I think there should be more activities opened up for younger kids when school's not open, to keep their time more concealed than being able to go out and about and do whatever.
There should be more youth sports, a lot more of it. I've hardly seen any of these kids, you know what I mean? You just don't see it. You don't see a lot of baseball or any football or soccer or anything.
They should fix Lindo Lake before it evaporates, since it's the only lake in San Diego County. It's not man-made.
I think they should start being more about the western part, or the western feel, or the rodeo grounds, kind of bring that back to life. I think it would be good.
Yes. Overall?
No, not at all.
Very strongly.
Yes.
Yes.
I feel it's a lot more ethnically diverse than it used to be, but the racism has gone way up since that's happened.
It's definitely mostly white folks here, but it's not, you know what I mean, not as white as it used to be.
There's a lot more different types of ethnicities living in the town than there used to be even 5 years ago. Caucasians still feel strongly about the way they did 20 years ago now. That I don't think will ever change.
Yeah, a lot more diversity.
A lot of diversity, but I think white still is in the lead.
Yes, it would be a good place to raise their children, but not in certain areas of Lakeside.
Dude, don't.
I would tell them to move closer towards like El Monte, closer towards the outside of the town, live instead of in the middle of the town.
I think Lakeside's fun. It's really, compared to other places in the city, it's not bad at all.
I feel Lakeside is a good community to raise kids and do that, or tell people they should move here, because we need more family-oriented people, because that's what makes it safer.
I think there's a strong sense of identification here. Yeah.
Well, I don't identify with this community myself. There's definitely it's got its own theme, you know what I mean? Its own style, its own thing going on. That's for sure.
Yeah, everybody knows where they stand and where they are and how they feel here.
All of East County is a certain area.
Do you feel there's a strong sense of identification within this community?
Oh, yes, I do.
One of the issues we identified as a community concern was racism. Despite the perception that there was an increase in ethnic diversity from its community members, Lakeside is still predominantly white. There is a record of noted hate crimes, arrests, and violence related to race that supports the statements noted by the individuals we interviewed. One of these is the murder of Mexican immigrant Ireneo Soto Aguilar on April 23, 1999, by 3 teens. His body was found in a drainage ditch near the center of Lakeside, California. He was stoned to death, and the walls of the ditch where his body was found was covered in swastikas and other symbols of racism. Although this and other crimes occurred in previous years, the community members we interviewed still feel the presence of the ethnic prejudice and white supremacy in the community. As reported by our interviews, homelessness ranked as one of the top concerns of the community. There is definitely a lack of housing for the homeless, or a Housing First program, which in return may cause individuals to continue living on the streets. The only shelter available, and it is not widely publicized, is the Belinda Place, ran by the nonprofit Living Solutions and Services. All other shelters are located in the surrounding areas such as El Cajon and Santee.
Some of the strengths within this community are they thrive on community building, and the history of Lakeside continues through its members. This is a close-knit community as members feel connected and involved with one another. Lastly, although this community is predominantly Caucasian, they are starting to build on a more ethnically diverse culture. Weaknesses or areas of focus should be surrounded by the healthcare or lack of healthcare options and safety and transportation for its members. The one neighborhood healthcare facility is not enough for this community. This clinic primarily serves the lower class population, and the accessibility to getting an appointment is scarce. The residents need more healthcare options to meet their basic needs. In regards to transportation and safety, sidewalks are limited all around this community in public and residential areas. Handicap or wheelchair-bound residents do not have access to get around this community effectively. Bike lanes are present, but not consistent on main roads. Also, in some school areas, there are not effective crosswalk areas allowing for safe crossing across the street to and from school.